should see this. What is this? Does that say NFT? What what are you doing? Is that an what is that? Project Color? What the fuck is this? Are you fucking kidding me? You bought an NFT from a fucking vending machine? Blue! You bought the color blue! What the fuck?
I can't. What is this? What are you supposed to do with this? Is unironically the and like look.
Are you fucking kidding me? You bought an NFT
No, stop.
from a fucking vending machine? Blue! You bought the color blue!
What? What? What's the point? It's got 900 likes. It's not that popular, but it's decent. Popular enough.
What the fuck?
Like, you can't even do anything with that. Like, there's nothing. Like, that's actually a meaningless buy. Because you can't just do anything with the color blue. It's the color blue.
You bought the color blue from a vending machine. An NFT blue. You now own the color blue. Oh, well, fucking great. Nobody can use the fucking color blue anymore because this guy owns the fucking color blue. Are you fucking stupid? Are you fucking
Oh my god.
out of your mind? Why are you wasting? Are you blood a goddamn it?
Like, what sucks about this, like, is like, so like, what interesting question is, oh, will NFTs be a thing in the future? They probably will, but they're coming with like some retarded, ridiculous. Well, they're probably not retarded regulations. They're needed regulations. Like a ton of regulations, so that if you do actually buy something as an NFT, you do own it as a copyright holder, which would make everything that you're buying as NFTs like super annoying to get. But like, and like, at that point, it's barely an NFT. It's basically just a copyright. It's just using another way of doing copyright. Right, you'll have like 3 forms of copyright instead of like the 2 or whatever we have now. What, I don't know how many. Right, you'll have it on paper. You'll have it in the court system, which is basically on paper as well. Like, right, it's in like, you'll have it digitally saved there. You'll have it physically saved on a piece of paper, and you'll have it doubly digitally saved.
NFT with the fucking color blue! A blue NFT! So now you own the color blue, Rob! Oh, everybody stop using the color blue because Rob just owns the rights to the color fucking blue! You bought a goddamn fucking NFT loot box from a fucking vending machine! It can't go!
I don't know. That's kind of wild.
Why the fuck did you share this with me? No fucking way! This is real! Damn, where'd you do this at? 29 St. John, New York City. God, fucking New York City. Oh, nice color too, bruh. Yeah, it's 2 hexadecibels from the SC. Are these guys fucking kidding me? Wow, adjacent to royalty, man. They gotta be fucking with each other. Where is this? Oh, dude, it's at St. John of Fulton. It's Neon Gallery. Do you mind disclosing? Oh, I would love to try that out, because you're a fucking it. Which wallet did you use on your phone? I redeemed it in Neon Wallet, but I stored it in Phantom, and I buy some useless shit. You can't use color blue no more, because I own it, and every time somebody uses color blue, they gotta call me up on the phone. My name is Rob, I own color blue.
Yeah, the comments are super weird. Like, imagine seeing the color blue in your comments like, nice dude, that's crazy. Where'd you get it from? Yo, where can I get one? Where can I, what? It's like, okay, it has to be it. There's no way those people are like real people. No fucking way. Hey, get back here. Just need something to smack in the head. This apparently scales with all stats, so if I'm level 200 something, this should do a lot of damage. Even though... Doesn't do any damage, guys. Doesn't do any damage. Doesn't do any damage, guys. I don't know what to say. Guys, it shouldn't do. I'm sure I have to unlock the scaling once I'm level 30 in strength, but I'm just never going to do that, so... Anyways.
$5. There's oh, thanks for supporting, fam. Oh, this supports Solana. I thought it was NEO only. Too many Levine doing too much cool shit for me to keep up. Hey, I'm the Levine who leads this project. I gotta say, it's always fun to see somebody using the vending machines. Somebody fucking seeing fucking loot boxes. Real fucking loot boxes. Blake Levine, come on, Blake. The mysterious third Levine, so good. So good, considering putting one in my apartment. You're gonna put... Are you out of your mind? You're gonna put an NFT fucking vending machine in your apartment? These people are fucking delusional. They're fucking delusional. The vending machine or the NFT, either way, let me know. What the fucking...
They're not real people. They can't be real people.
What a waste of time. Oh, God, thank God, Nate. Thank God, Nate. And then he's all a sad face. Hey, you get out of here. Hey, you get that from software for free or physical and paint department for free. What a joke. Thank you, Fatally Ruined. Oh, my God. My thoughts, too. I honestly don't understand the purpose of this. It's getting frustrating seeing it everywhere. Oh, God, thank God. This is sick. I definitely thought you were using a VR headset. It's dope. Stop in. We're open 24/7. Fucking buy the color fucking blue. Why'd you send me this? Internet, why'd you send me this? Ah. Please. You're fucking breaking my brain. You're taking the shit that I hate the most, the fucking vending machines and loot boxes.
I feel like Moonvale will get
and fucking
nerfed at some point,
NFTs
right?
and the color blue. Pay for the color blue. Oh, fuck.
18 decks for
fucking bastards. Well, you know what reminds me of this shit? I fucking always remember this picture. This is what I gotta say to this. NFTs fucking suck. Open your eyes, shit for brains. You spend a month's wage on an ugly picture, and has it made your life any fucking better? Do you really think your fucking NFT of an old fucking meme is gonna be worth anything 10 years from now? Not everything has to be crypto, asshole. I love this thing. Artists have been making money online for decades without the fucking blockchain and wasting a month's worth of energy for a single fucking click. And this is even more wasteful. You're making physical fucking useless paper so that you could get your QR code so that you could go online and get your digital.
The wasteful arguments are like, whatever. We consume so much fucking random bullshit.
You broke me. You freaking broke me.
Like, it's fine for most people, because, like, do I, like, waste things like a super ton? Well, like, you know, you look at it like, well, okay, well, do you buy fucking chocolate bars? Those wrappers are really, like, those are plastic wrappers, right? It's kind of annoying, but it is a totally useless object. But, like, a lot of things that you buy are totally useless objects. Right?
You know,
some would argue that, like, video games could be totally useless, right? That's a really dumb argument, but you could argue that.
Rather than the fucking livelihoods of actual artists, and it's not even about that. It's all fucking hype, fake fucking hype for your fucking pyramid scheme. Fuck NFTs. Thankfully.
Okay, that's true.
Just recently saw this video from Young Ya. The internet celebrates as NFT sales and interest nosedive. Yes, please.
Non-fungible tokens.
No. The internet celebrates as it is starting to die. The sources got all the sources here. Here's Paul Tassi. Here's the fucking article. Oh God, yes, please. Interest in NFTs and the metaverse is falling fast. Have you been not hearing about it lately? Well, you're not alone. The initial surge, and now it is fucking dying. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, open. Oh, yes, please. Die! Die! Guys, I seriously, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want with your stupid fucking brain and your money. Keep it out of gaming. Keep this fucking shit out of gaming, and I'm fucking glad NFTs appear to be fucking dying off. Nobody gives a shit about your fucking metaverse, Facebook shit, and your fucking NFTs and your fucking bullshit hype, false hype crap. Thank you for sending me this, you fucking assholes. I know it's from January, but I still gotta fucking react. I can't not react to this. Fuck, get the fuck out of my face.
Oh.
Titanium parts. They're really simple.
Hey.
For 2-axis lathe. And the second shift machinist, near retirement age, older guy, never been nothing but an operator before. So he sets the part up, and then we started breaking drills. So he comes up to my desk and he just starts laying into me, you know, how I'm sick of these programmers programming too fast. It's like, these things never work. He's like, you can't run that fast in titanium and all this stuff. But like, I looked up the manufacturer's recommendations, was going off their feeds and speeds, everything was right. I was actually on the conservative side, so like nothing really crazy was happening. So I was like, it should work. So I started asking him, is it his setup? You know, it's like, do you got something wrong with your setup? Is it out of alignment, something like that? Because he just starts going off like, no, like there's nothing wrong with that. He's like, we do it just like we always do. So I like get up out of my desk, go down there, and I start looking at it, and I was like, did you indicate your drills in? He's like, no, we never do that. It's like, what are you talking about? You got to indicate the drills in. Like every time you take one out, you put a new one in, you've got to indicate it in. So they had them in this like ER32 collet holders, and of course he just immediately starts like, no, that's not the problem, out of alignment, something like that. I'm sick of these programmers programming too fast. Machinist, near retirement age, older guy, he'd never been nothing but an operator before. So he sets the part up and program these titanium parts. They're really simple. They're for 2-axis lathe. And the second shift machinist, near retirement age, older guy, he'd never been nothing but an operator before. So he sets the part up, and then we started breaking drills. So he comes up to my desk and he just starts laying into me, you know, how I'm sick of these programmers programming too fast. It's like, these things never work. He's like, you can't run that fast in titanium and all this stuff. But like, I looked up the manufacturer's recommendations, was going off their feeds and speeds, everything was right. I was actually on the conservative side, so like nothing really crazy was happening. So I was like, it should work. So I started asking him, is it his setup? You know, it's like, do you got something wrong with your setup? Is it out of alignment, something like that? Well, of course he just starts going off like, no, like there's nothing wrong with that. He's like, we do it just like we always do. So I like get up out of my desk, go down there, and I start looking at it, and I was like, did you indicate your drills in? He's like, no, we never do that. It's like, what are you talking about? You got to indicate the drills in. Like every time you take one out, you put a new one in, you've got to indicate it in. So they had them in this like ER32 collet holders, and of course he just immediately starts like, no, that's not the problem. You know, the program's the problem. So he wants me to like change the program without checking anything. So I'm like, no, we need to check this setup. Well, he wouldn't do it. So I was like, I'll check it for you. I'll prove to you that it's the setup. So he like pulls up a chair, sits down, just kicks his feet back. He's like, all right, go ahead. He's like, I want to see it. So I want to see this young buck show me how to do this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I like start getting his indicators out, put them on the spindle, send the drills to X0. It doesn't have, it's just a 2-axis lathe, so it doesn't have a Y. So I send it to X0, start indicating in. First thing I notice, drill is out in X by 13 thousandths.
Oh, it's a lathe, so yeah, you would indicate that. I
just turn around and point to him. I said, right there's your problem. So they got another tool that's dedicated for the spot drill. They always leave a spot drill in. I said, I'm willing to bet that one's out too. So I reset it, call up the other tool, send it to 0. Sure enough, it's out 13 thousandths as well. They're not only out in X, they're actually out in Y as well, which tells me that the turret is out of line. To get us going, I actually broke the bolts loose and actually moved it off, you know, so I could indicate it all in line. Once I did that, didn't change anything in the program, retouched everything off. ran it, drilled perfectly. We ran every part on the order with one drill, never broke another drill. Of course, after that, started gaining his respect, started changing his tone after that.
I super don't care. Hey, you know this very basic machining thing? Like, imagine being an old timer, which means that you probably existed before CNC existed, okay? I don't know how the fuck you even transitioned to being a CNC operator. Usually old timers like that, like, refuse to understand a CNC. So the fact that he was a CNC operator, an old timer CNC, means that he was a manual machinist, then transitioned to becoming a CNC machinist. Which means, wait, what the fuck? Oh, it's because my, oh no, but that won't matter because it's not scaling with arcane. This was scaling with intelligence, so the blood loss won't change. Anyway, so no, I'm not gonna use these. I'm tired of using katanas. Well, technically, maybe. Don't know. It means you transition to being a CNC guy and you never indicate your fucking drills, even on a manual lathe. You indicate your drills in. Like, that's an obvious step you take. Indicate the drills. Yeah. Brain dead. Number one step you should do. Indicate your drills. Like, I don't believe that that's an old timer like he just must have been a shit he just must have been dog water at fucking machining in general. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm fucking crazy, guys. I'm a young buck, as they say. Let's see if I missed this in Limgrave.
In a place that, like, for these kinds of games, that they would have like a giant or like somebody on the other side like shooting an arrow at you or some like weird bullshit, you know? Yeah, it's like something like that, or I don't know. True? Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've played a lot of these games before, so I'm kind of used to them.
Wait, what?
What's this here? Oh, a chair. Wow, that's crazy. Lost Ashes of War. That's cool.
This is scripted because he has another clip. What? Okay, are both scripted now? What's happening? This same clip that I'm watching was. He has a reaction to somebody else getting shot by the same fucking giant he's about to get shot by, and he's there like, you know it'll be there. So he either.
I'm not McConnell.
Ah, okay, he was acting. Okay, thank you.
Actually thought I was gonna get got.
Okay, thank you. I was like,
Here you are, and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, I'm bringing you 12 things that you probably missed in Limgrave to make sure that you've gathered every single item, completed every single quest, and you're as leveled as possible to give you the best chance as you progress through the rest of the lands between. If you enjoy this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, because I do guides on open world RPGs as often as possible. And also, let me know if you found even one tip useful from this video, because I can make this into a full series and cover every area in the game, if that's something you'd like. So now let's get into tip number 1. As you're walking around and exploring just off the main road, and this is just south of where you find the Limgrave West map and where you found the grey site where you were given Torrent, you'll hear a voice coming from the bushes. As you'll see, the voice appears to be coming from this tree. Attack it in any way you see fit. Rolling also works. And he will reveal exactly who he is, why he's there, and also give you a hint as to a cave on the coast. If anyone would like the exact location, let me know, but I'll leave you to figure it out, because I know some people don't appreciate hard spoilers. This next tip is what I consider to be a fairly well hidden site of grace in a great location for travelling around Limgrave. It's actually taken me 4 separate run-throughs of this area before I stumbled upon this grace site. As you can see on the map here, it's smack bang in the middle of east and west, and it's just at the top of the river with a few of the caves and catacombs in. Once you trigger this site, you'll give yourself great easy access to a few of the other tips later on in this video. Now, tip 3 contains a few steps and can be done in a few different orders, so I'll give you all of the steps, but you may need to jumble them around for your playthrough. Essentially, you have probably seen the fuck-off dragon in the middle of Agheel Lake. Flying Dragon Agheel. If you're a completionist like me, you want to kill him, but he can be a little bit challenging at lower levels. However, there is a summon available to help you if you follow some certain steps. This summon is Bloody Finger Hunter Ura. I will give you the quest in the order I did it, however I believe the invasion is optional. You'll want to just keep heading north up this canyon here, up the river, and eventually you will be invaded by a Bloody Finger. Progress just slightly further up the river after he's invaded, and Ura will join in and help you. This is crucial. You must make sure Ura survives the fight. You can die as many times as you need to, as long as you make sure that Ura lives. Once you've defeated the invader, Ura will depart, and then you can find him further down the canyon still. As you can see here, I've walked to Murkwater Coast. I've hopped my horse down this spirit spring here, and you'll find Ura under this bit of rubble. Make sure you exhaust his dialogue. He will tell you to stay clear of Agheel Lake. And then if you're unlucky like me, some bloody asshole skeleton will fucking interrupt a conversation. Kill the skeleton. And then exhaust the dialogue with Ura. Now, that whole segment I believe is optional, and you will only need to do if you have done the invasion. If you want to skip the invasion, you can just head south of Agheel Lake, and just to the northeast of the Seaside Ruins Site of Grace, under this other bit of rubble, you will see Ura here. Before you talk to him again, you'll want to make sure you've walked around the lake and actually aggroed the dragon. Now, what you need to do is go and try and fight the dragon again. And die. When you die, it should give you an option to spawn at the Stake of Marika, which, as you can see on the minimap here, is just northwest of the Dragonberg Ruins. Now you need to go and speak to Ura at the Seaside Ruins. He will scold you for going and taking on the dragon and dying. However, the next time you rest at a grey site at the Stake of Marika, you'll see his summon sign on the ground as displayed here, and he'll be ready to join you in the fight. Bearing in mind, this is still quite an intense boss fight. It's still a bloody dragon at the end of the day. And summoning Ura, just like if you were summoning NPCs for main bosses, will give the dragon more health. However, he's pretty tanky and he's pretty strong, so for the most part he does make the fight a little bit easier, and you've still got your spirit ashes as well.
Oh, summoning stuff does make the boss have more fun. Wow, that's actually crazy.
Tip 4 is much easier.
Summon if you want.
You want to start off once again at that super awesome Site of Grace we unlocked earlier, and then head northwest just to the south of the Storm Hills. Here you'll see a spirit spring that you can jump up. And weaving in and out of these giants, you will see an item off in the distance, encased in stone. That's fine, let's just kill it, right? Let's just smash it open and grab the item. Unfortunately, we're too weak. What you need to do is bait an attack out of a giant, run away, and then grab the item. Or if you feel powerful enough, you can just take out the giants. Honestly, when you get used to their movesets, the giants really aren't anywhere near as intimidating as they seem. There we go, so I'm just going to mount up, run around until I can get a clear shot of the item, which as you'll see is a ton of level 1 smithing stones and a level 2 smithing stone. Incredibly good to get you a few early levels with your weapons. Now tip 5 is another long one, but it's nowhere near as challenging as the dragon, and actually, doing this tip will allow you a summon for one of the Evergals. Firstly, you want to go into Mistwood in Eastern Limgrave and just run around the ruins until you hear howling. Once you've heard the howling, go back to Carle in the Church of Ely? I don't know how you pronounce that name. I'm going to say Ely.
Wait, please! I surrender! White flag and all!
Ask Carle about the howling, and he will say, oh yes, that's my half-wolf friend, and he will give you an emote. Now you want to go back to Mistwood, and when you hear the howling, finger snap using the new emote he gave you. You can see the exact location that Blythe spawns here, and I will finger snap and you'll see him drop down. Now you can talk to him to initiate Blythe's questline, and he will ask you to hunt down and kill Darrowil.
Don't forget, I'll be ready.
Darrowil is found just here in the Forlorn Hound Evergal, and when you teleport in, you will see Blythe's summon sign just to the right of you. But
so I haven't missed either of
this
these.
fight isn't actually too bad. If you have a 100% physical resist shield, you can pretty much just guard counter him to death. But for magic users, he is a bugger. He really is. So honestly, Blythe is incredibly handy in this fight. If you don't help out, Darrowil can fuck Blythe up pretty quickly. But as long as the two of you are tag teaming him, you will pretty much just stun lock him to death.
This is where it ends for you.
And there you go, you've just progressed Blythe's questline and got help with the boss at the same time. Now speak to him when you teleport back out of the boss fight. He will tell you roughly where to go to carry on the next part of his quest, and he will give you an item as a reward. Next, we're going to head to the northeast of Limgrave into Summonwater Village. Go slightly to the southeast, where you see me on the map marker here. And there is actually a cave that requires a stone sword kit. As long as you have one, which you probably do at this point. Head on down, there's a bunch of turtles that you can kill for some turtleneck meat. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And then in the back room, you will find a great early game talisman that increases your stamina regen. Think of this like the Chloranthy ring from Dark Souls. Absolutely brilliant. I use it for most of the early game. Simple as that for tip 6. Now we'll move on to tip 7. If you spawn at the Mistwood outskirts Grace site, if you have it, if not, there it is on my map, then you can run just northeast to these ruins that act as a makeshift bridge. This is another fairly lengthy one and takes us through the majority of Kenneth Heights questline. You'll find Kenneth stuck on top of there asking for help. Once you've spoken to him and fully exhausted his dialogue, he will ask you to go all the way to the south to Fort Height and liberate it for him. Go there, retake the keep, make sure you grab the half medallion on top as well, because that is a semi-required item that can save you a lot of time later on in the game as long as you grab the other half of the Kenneth Heights questline. Dark Souls, absolutely brilliant. I use it for most of the early marker here.
I don't think I ever got this talisman.
And there you go, you've just progressed. Now, however, the next to join you in the fight. Bearing in mind giants, you will see an item off in the distance, encased in stone. Unfortunately, an attack, a clear shot of the item, which as you'll see is a ton of level 1 smithing stones and a level 2 smithing stone. Incredibly good to get you a few early levels with your weapons. Now tip 5 is another long one, but it's nowhere to Mistwood in, and he will be found just for melee builds. He use the two Now speak to him when you teleport. Next, we're going to head to the northeast of Limgrave into Summonwater Village. Go slightly. Head on down. There's a bunch. Southeast.
I'm gonna murder this dragon first.
Are not that great for a mage, and early game as a mage. If you started out as stats the astrologer said to farm the... Not going to say anything about these quests, but potentially maybe a little spoiler warning here for you. And his set might initially look good because it explicitly says that it boosts sorcery skills, and it's really easy to interpret that this will boost your sorceries and thus your damage output. But rather it will really just boost sorcery skills and not sorceries, and to make it worse it's going to only boost quests, and in a greater sense also to Ranni's questline. It's a pretty weak set as well. It raises your mind with 3, but it takes quite a cut from your stamina, so it's really not worth the trade-off in my opinion, and also not really worth using. When you get to the capital, you will be able to obtain the Albridge Mage set. For people who care about fashion, you can get it right here.
True, it is fashionable. Why do I have bonus?
It's a really good looking set, but unfortunately it's another set that's pretty weak for us mages. It boosts one type of sorceries basically when you wear it, and these are the Thorn related sorceries. Specifically, there are 2 Thorn-related sorceries in the game. These are the Briars of Sin and the Briars of Punishment sorceries. These sorceries are fate-based sorceries though, which makes things a bit awkward. And just for that reason, the applications of this set are going to be very niche, even if you would spec into Fate as an intelligent set.
Ah, cringe. Too niche, eh? Well,
then you have the Battle Mage set. You can get this drop from killing the Battle Mage that's located in the Eldest Plateau region near the West Windmill Page location.
Okay. I could feel it poking out of my fucking butthole, okay? I'm gonna be right back. I can feel it, dude. Not good. Giving birth right now. Stop the snow. Stop the snow. Stop the snow. Fucking. Government's lying to you guys. There is no actual snow outside. You've been lied to. Why do I just fucking... No snow. Go out. Enjoy yourself. No. No. Not real. You've been lied to. There's no snow outside. Don't wear a coat while going outside. Use your free choice. Everyone wants to tell you that you should wear a coat? No. It's not minus 20 million outside. That's driving wheel will can't complain. Well, I also want my better mic. I'll buy that better. Because my mic. Same thing, it's like I'm just not playing my Switch right now because I'm too busy streaming.
After you kill him, he will drop the entire set, and honestly I don't even know if it's worth getting, because what it essentially does is that it removes 10% of. Then we have both the Lucet and Acer Mage sets. You will be able to get both of them after you finish Selen's questline. Make sure however that you side with her in the questline, otherwise you will not be able to get that set.
Not good.
Now these sets are kinda interesting, but they are also very limited in their uses, to be honest. They both boost exactly one spell and one spell only. Acer sets boosts his spell that he gives you, which is Acer's Comet, and it's a great spell of course and very powerful versus many enemies, but this boost comes with a trade-off. It's basically going to cost 15% extra FP. Aside from that, the thing is also that you won't always be able to spam Acer's Comet, especially when you get to the late game and most enemies aren't really that stationary anymore. And in the cases where you actually can use Acer's Comet and spam it, the target will most of the time be stationary or won't be able to reach you simply because it doesn't have a mechanic to cross the beam, which is blocking its path. You will almost most certainly kill the target within Cerulean's hidden tears duration, so the boost that you get here in return for the extra FP is not that relevant or great.
True.
Really. At least in my opinion, and this is mostly if you follow my build videos of course, but I have beaten the game on my mage and I've never experienced the case that Acer's Comet didn't do enough damage when I was using it, and the fact that the set boosts just one spell does not make me really excited about it either, because in a lot of other scenarios that will just mean that this rune spell, and for the same reason as with Acer, it's really not worth it to wear the set just for this one spell. But let's also consider one spell, which is again his spell, and this is the Stars of Rune spell, and for the same reason as dodge and stuff, then you can always wear them for fashion of course, and in some scenarios you will have a boost to a spell. Massive damage that way, hits. And if you wear the set, or the helmet more specifically, the Glintstone Ice Crack spell becomes like a Super Saiyan version of the Glintstone Pebble spell, and an improved, harder hitting version of the Great Glintstone Shard spell, which has the exact same FP cost. So you can swap those out if you have them. Hit people through walls, very useful, massive damage that way. And to make things better, this thing also builds up Frostbite as well, which will usually proc within 3 to 4 hits. And staying in the medium load category, this way you won't really look or feel like a mage, but you will have the best all-round defensive stats in the gear that you're wearing. This helmet has at the NPC in the round hole table. This helmet gives you +3 intelligence but has no trade-offs, which makes it a very good option actually. But basically in the mid game for your chest, trousers and hands, the best option to do so is going to be to pick up the Carrion Knight set. I've also gone over where to get this in part 2 of my mage build, but here is a recap. Go to the graveyard after set and take trousers are facing. So like I said, we want as many defensive stats as possible while staying in the medium load category, but now we can also in a full catcher or a mage. Here's to hearing your thoughts though. Like the video, that will help out the medium load category and you will not go over it, which makes it a very good combination.
Okay, basically trying to min-max poise. I don't particularly care.
Where you see...
What was I doing again? Killing the dragon. The only exception is I might wear this, but I don't know, I just don't like the... Well, actually, I can make this look better, because I'm not going to wear... I always say I'm not going to wear this, because I look like a dumb fuck. But instead, like that, or I can wear some knight stuff. Blythe's armor actually looks dope. Couple of options of that, but I don't really have anything frost wise. Actually, that's not true. I have the one pebble thing. Oh, that looks really good actually. I actually like that. That's actually kind of cool. If I were to use more frost stuff, so what would I do instead of this? He does like a little bit of frost damage, so probably switch to this. Which was it? This ice rag, or was it something else? Frost spells, Elden Ring. This just boosts frost spells with like almost no drawback. Okay. Bonehead. Best frostbite spells. Frost armament. Don't care. Boreal's mist. Don't care. Don't care. Ice rag. The rest. Frozen lightning spear. Also can do. Duelist moonblade. Apparently, this guy listed as bad. It's actually broken. But anyways, ice rag is the. So this for ice rag. And this I can keep. This I can keep. I don't know if I'm ever gonna use this. Well, if it's something stationary enough, like why not just use it? Common Azure, Dark Moon. I might swap it out for using the sword. Whee. Okay. We shall see though. I don't know. Wish something matched the set a little bit better. Perfect. Like this doesn't look bad. I wish the cape was like longer. Plus I know like I'm not supposed to be wearing it. It's like totally not for me. Right. So I need something that's a bit more bulky. Like that looks okay. But I like it. Fuck, that looks okay. Like something that's like offsetting, but not like super stupidly off. Like that looks meh. I think it's gotta be like an armor set. Oh. Oh. That's an interesting prospect. Am I heavy rolling? I am heavy loading. Okay. Not cool. All-knowing looks meh. Carrion, actually. Am I dumb? Where the fuck is... Am I on drugs or something? I think I'm... Oh, it's right there. Okay. Jesus, what the fuck? I don't know why. That looks okay. Unless he just thinks the hats are just a little too much. You know? See how much damage I do to this dragon with this device, right? Let me just... hell are you locking on? I'm doing like 4,000 damage per hit. Oh. I'm doing like 100. Jesus. I haven't even made it there yet. Very interesting. Is there a giant anywhere near here? That did do a decent amount of damage, right? 1,000. Oh, I could just test it on those guys. Take the helmet. Oh, that's not at all where I want to do. Oh, crazy how that's like absolutely not where I wanted to go at all. We go closer to where I need to go. I think there's like a giant thing on a bridge somewhere. I don't know. I don't care. Gotta be something somewhere. Oh, this is that bridge. Oh my god. Okay. Just the ice rag. 932 damage. With hat on? Somehow less damage. I'm not sure if that made any sense. I feel like I did something wrong. So 800, 800, then 1,000. Taking that one off. So there's like 100 extra damage. Yeah, there's like an extra 100 damage. Is it just this that increases? Strengthens cold sorceries. I basically just become a frost wizard. Who mostly will fire Glintstone Ice Ray. That's like mostly fine. I just don't know if I like the look. And you know, at the end of the day, that's what really matters. Now this looks good. Am I heavy rolling? Still million rolling. Like this. This looks good. It's a mix and match. Does it look better than my other set though? Do I like this look better than I like the full brick set thing? I can't say that I do. The dragon. An interesting conundrum. I think the broad answer is I don't particularly care about frost things. But at the same time, I will be using that frost sword eventually. Because it's really broken apparently. How good is this? That does a lot of damage. Like, this is a really cool spell. This helps. This is really cool. This does a fuck ton of damage. It probably also gets boosted by Ronnie's thing. The Glintstone, whatever the fuck. I don't know if I'm going to use this spell as much because I can't, like, constantly cast it. What was the other spell it is in? Loretta's Great Bow, which I never ever use, basically. But it can shoot the farthest distance, and that's why I use it. So, because look at this, I could shoot him from over here. Probably won't say anything, probably is. You're on, big guy. Yeah, 1500 damage. Fully charged. It's just broken. And then we have Ronnie's Moon. I just do fucking damage. 1800 damage. Jesus. Ow, wow. Yeah, I don't think I really need to change it. I don't like the look as much. I don't know. Never been one to like white. Straight white whale.
Me on the map marker here, and there is actually a cave that requires a stone sword key. As long as you have one, which you probably do at this point, head on down. There's a bunch of turtles that you can kill for some turtle meat. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
No, never kill it.
And then in the back room, you will find a great early game talisman that increases your stamina regen. Think of this like the Chloranthy ring from Dark Souls. Absolutely brilliant. I use it for most of the early game.
I used to use the
Simple
climb
as that
ring,
for
but I
tip
also used
6.
it with
Now
Dex.
we'll move on to tip 7.
I'm sure I get it.
If you spawn at the Mistwood Outskirts Grace Site, if you have it, if not, there it is on my map, then you can run just northeast to these ruins that act as a makeshift bridge. This is another fairly lengthy one and takes us through the majority of Kenneth Heights questline.
I think I've already been here. I don't know why.
You'll find Kenneth stuck on top of there asking for help. Once you've spoken to him and fully exhausted his dialogue, he will ask you to go all the way to the south to Fort Height and liberate it for him. Go there, retake the keep, make sure you grab the half. Then you can run just northeast to these ruins that act as a makeshift bridge. This is another fairly lengthy one and takes us through the majority of Kenneth Heights questline. You'll find Kenneth stuck on top of there asking for help. Once you've spoken to him and fully exhausted his dialogue, he will ask you to go all the way to the south to Fort Height and liberate it for him. If you spawn at the Mistwood Outskirts Grace Site, if you have it, if not, there it is on my map, then you can run just northeast to these ruins that act as a makeshift bridge. This is another fairly lengthy one and takes us through the majority of Kenneth Heights questline. You'll find Kenneth stuck on top of there asking for help. Once you've spoken to him and fully exhausted his dialogue, he will ask you to go all the way to the south to Fort Height and liberate it for him. Go there, retake the keep, make sure you grab the half battalion on top as well, because that is a semi-required item that can save you a lot of time later on in the game as long as you grab the other half of the medallion as well. Go back to Kenneth, exhaust his dialogue, and make sure that you accept his offer to pledge into his service if you want to progress his questline. I won't ruin too much more because I think it's a very fun questline, so just listen to his dialogue, go back to his keep, speak to him there, and I will let you discover the details of the quest yourself. However, that isn't the end of the quest. We will revisit the quest once we've done Stormvale Castle in a later video. But for now, I will just say, what a bastard. Now, tip 8 is a very straightforward one. Back to where you fought the Tibia Marina boss, just run slightly northeast and you'll see a church. There is an NPC invasion that isn't too bad. She packs a punch, but she's very easy to telegraph and you should take her down in no problem. Then when you go into the church, there'll be a site of grace and 2 crafting recipe books, which are absolutely great. Simple as that for that tip. Now for tip number 9, I'm going to show you a hidden well to take you to a massive, massive underground area. Completely missable, completely optional, and just absolutely insanely gorgeous. You just want to go to the east side of the Mistwoods and slightly to the north of the minor Erd tree that's there. You will see a little circular building, and inside there is a lift down. I won't give you any more than that because you need to experience this for the first time yourself. It's just such a stunning area, and I was blown away when I found out that it wasn't just another cave. It was a whole region, a whole series of regions. Oh, it's just, I'll leave it there. Go check it out yourself. It's amazing. Now for tip 10, you want to go southwest of the seaside ruins, and you'll see there's a spirit spring. If you didn't know, you can use them the exact same way going down as you can going up. So just get on your horse and jump down through the spirit spring to land on the beach here. There's a crab and some like Nosferatu offspring looking enemy. Unfortunately, I completely forgot and missed the recording for this, so I'll show you the areas, but I have already killed the enemies and picked up the items. There's an item, I believe, around the crab somewhere, and when you kill the vampire dude, he drops a pretty decent Ashes of War as well, which is like some gravity pull spell for melee weapons. And then finally, once you've killed them and cleared out the beach, you can actually run into a little cave. That will take you to a talisman that reduces holy damage, which is always nice. And you'll see you're actually up on a ledge at the back of the tutorial area that we were in right at the start of the game. Now I'll move on to 2 bonus tips that aren't specifically in Limgrave, but are definitely related and should help you out. So for the next tip, you want to go to Roundtable Hold. I believe you should have already been there already, just through resting at Grace's and speaking to Melina. Once you are there, run past the blacksmith and go downstairs, turn around the corner, and there are 2 sealed off rooms that require a total of 3 stone sword keys. The first one contains a crossbow and 20 black crossbow bolts. Very powerful bow, very powerful bolts. So if you're going for a build that can wield that, definitely a really good early game ranged weapon for you. And that room only requires 1 stone sword key. And then if you want to go into the next room, which is just on the left hand side, you'll see this one actually requires 2 stone sword keys. And this is the first time I realized that. If you have a look at the gargoyle statues, sometimes there is already a key in the mouth of the bottom one. So some of them only require the 1, some require 2. I stupidly forgot this and only bought 2. However, in case you wanted to know, just so that you don't waste any of your keys, the only piece of loot behind this door is an assassin's prayer book for 2 very minor faith spells. If you're a bit of a completionist and you're going a faith build and you want every single faith spell, then you now know what's behind there. But if you're not planning on going faith spells, you don't need to waste your keys to go through here, as that is all that's in there. And finally, my last tip is actually to head south and completely clear out the Weeping Peninsula before you do Stormvale Castle. The main boss of that area is way easier than Stormvale Castle, and if you are struggling with the game at all, thinking it might be slightly too hard, the first main boss in Stormvale Castle is an absolute bitch. He's so strong. Oh my, he's ridiculous. So go do Weeping Peninsula first. There's a load of good items there. Go clear out the main boss, level yourself up, then come back to Stormvale. Literally just head over the bridge that you've just seen me head over, rest at the site of Grace there, and if you want, I can do a things you didn't know in Weeping Peninsula for the next video as well, and I can show you some of the more missable things there too, to make sure that you're getting the absolute most out of every area.
Fuck that guy.
As I said earlier, if this has been interesting to you, if you like this kind of video, please make sure you subscribe, and let me know if you want more as well, or let me know if there's any other guides you'd like me to do. If you have stuck around this long, I've completed the game 4 times already, I've platinumed it, I've 100%ed it, I've got a level 202 character on New Game Plus 4, I'm currently doing a Soul level 1 run, so I like to think I know...
Huh. Only 202, I think it's...
I have no flasks left. This is really bad. I can beat it. I can beat it. Easy boss? It's an easy boss. I know it's an easy boss. Let's go. Let's What's one of these guys? These guys are using. What the fuck? My attack didn't work. Top gas. What? Okay. Who cares? What? I can't take another hit.
Jesus, fucking calm the fuck down, buddy.
No way.
Oh, I have to go find my clip. Oh, true. I have like a fucking insane...
60. So if all the NBA players were
Oh no.
tighten out because trans people
Oh my god.
disproportionate.
Oh my god.
There's so much higher on the curve. A man that's 5'10" is, if that man transitions, 5
Just swing at him! Something. I think I went for 12. I'll stop streaming at like 11, I think.
Okay, I want to bring back Leafs Corner for a couple of minutes. We are not a Maple Leafs podcast, but I have some questions and points that are about the Toronto Maple Leafs, because we did go in on the Kyle Dubas, Kyle Davidson beef that arose over the weekend, but we didn't get to touch off too much on the Harry Sateri signing slash waivers slash Arizona claim. We touched on it just like a little bit, but just seeing that, you know, we could go on it a little bit more, plus seeing the SDP boys kind of go in on that as well and express their thoughts on how Kyle Dubas has had this happen to him quite a few times over the last however long. It really had me thinking, like, there's like, as an outsider just seeing this, like, I don't know the number of how many times he's tried to sign a guy and a guy is up on waivers, right? Like, I wonder if there's like a legitimate case, if there's like some shenanigans going on here, like what's the deal with that, right?
Well, each situation's a little unique, right? But they have lost 11 players off waivers in 3.5 years, which is by far the most in the league. I think some of that is because they've signed some good depth players down their roster, and so, you know, those guys had utility somewhere else. You know, last year it was Jimmy Vesey and Travis Boyd. I mean, guys that have spent all this season in the NHL, like they're NHL players, and the Leafs had a tight cap situation, so they had to subject them through waivers to be able to move them up and down, and they lost those players. You know, but there's some others, right? They had the whole goaltending situation at the start of last season with Aaron Dell, who they signed as a number 3. He got claimed before they even played a game. You know, this one with Sateri, I think it's frustrating. I think it's frustrating for the player. This is a guy who, you know, had to make a deal to terminate his KHL agreement. he lost more than 100,000 euros that he basically had to leave in Russia while the Russian currency crumbled and he couldn't move it out. So like he's out of pocket for this season compared to what he would. He had a great year, just won an Olympic gold medal. Now he gets a chance to join an NHL roster, and in Toronto, he felt like he maybe had a chance to play playoff games. I mean, the Leafs crease is extremely unstable right now, and so what a great opportunity for Sateri. And he chooses the Leafs. He wants to come here, and then my understanding is there was 3 or 4 claims actually put in on him. So it wasn't just Arizona. Arizona just got him because they're at the bottom of the standings. I know Ottawa was one of the teams that attempted to claim him, and I think for those teams he could be an asset, right? It's a journeyman 32-year-old goaltender, but he's making league minimum for the rest of the year. Maybe you sign him, you play him, you like him, you get him for next season at a good number. So it's still, I guess, an opportunity for him to go play in the NHL, but I know he was disappointed by it. So I don't know that it's shenanigans, quite honestly. I mean, Arizona had made a deal. They sent Wedgwood, I think, to Dallas the day before the deadline, so they had an opening there. They re-signed Karel Vejmelka on deadline day, and they need another goalie. So I don't think it's personal. I don't think it's targeted at Kyle Dubas. Like, I know that somewhere that seems to be out there. I think it's because people want these players. Like they claim Leafs players off waivers, yes, but then they play them in their lineup. So it's not like they claim them and stash them and just say, ha ha ha, Leafs, we got you. They're taking these guys because they're assets. I think I understand where Kyle Dubas would be frustrated though. I mean, any team could have signed Sateri. The Leafs did the work. The Leafs were the one who made that agreement, and then to just lose him, it's not ideal, but that's how the rules are written. And obviously, Toronto would have known about that possibility the day they signed him.
Yeah, not to mention signing Sateri is a lot cheaper and a lot less risky as opposed to dealing away a first-round pick to find some other goaltending option out there.
Right. Well, they could have traded a 4th rounder for Wedgwood like Dallas did, but evidently they made the determination that they were smarter just to sign this guy. I mean, I think, look, the goaltending is voodoo stuff is actually real. Like, did we talk about Anton Forsberg, right? The last show, like he was playing 3 times on waivers last year, and he's signing an extension. Like, you never know for sure. And I don't know that Harry Sateri. Look, maybe he's only going to play 3 games for Arizona. I mean, he's still got visa issues, so he's not in North America yet. There's not much time left in the regular season, but maybe he's great. Maybe it's not going to work. But I think if you're Toronto, I mean, there's nothing ventured, nothing gained. Had he ended up on the Leafs roster at 750, they always could have just sent him to the AHL if it wasn't working out, and wouldn't have hurt their cap situation or anything like that. So, I think it was a creative solution to their problem, if we call it that, or their issue. I think it was a sensible way to go, but it didn't work out, and now the ghost of Peter Mrazek reemerges.
You thought you could get rid of me?
Hey, won a game on Wednesday night. Like, goaltending is so hilarious. I mean, to me, I know that people put a lot of work. It's so fluid. Like, other than
Montreal plays today. Sick.
Or change your mind is to go through hell. I'm talking molding on a level unseen before on Twitch.
The fuck?
Molding on with this.
Oh my god. Did I debuff myself? Kinda like that. So now I'm maidenless again. Well, fuck.
True. Fuck that ending. I had to get it, but. Wow! Oh my god. Pog? Pogu? I think this is no Stella, right? Almost positive. Oh, Necro. Sorry for river or whatever. Back up we go. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Dun da da da. Dun dun da. Dun da da da. Da da da. I don't know. True. 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 Second race. We're gonna act like I didn't forget about it. Hey. What's up with all these assholes? Monkey looking asses.
I suppose you must have seen it by now, yes. Oh, indeed, it is a foul fate for one must be found. With haste for the true and stalwart lord of the proper lineage. I'm sorry to have, but I haven't the authority to raise you to knight the great Kenneth Height. But now, I must for a true and stalwart lord of the proper lineage. I must begin my search for a true and
Wow. Excuse me. Cringe, 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 cringe. Well, I'll just become your Elden Lord and stab you in the ass. What was the other thing that was going on there? The last thing? I don't even know.
Good. You need to do. Is anything you look at?
Oh yeah, everything else is useless.
Corner, and there are two.
Alright, don't care. Market. Margoody. It's only 22 hours ago. I guess I was.
Nobody's gonna dare push back on this. There's gonna be some critical mass where too many trans women athletes are winning too many events, and it's either just gonna cause people to become way more transphobic, and it's gonna cause a lot of erosion for trans stuff, or people are gonna finally be like, okay, well, maybe we need to change something. But the problem is, like, nobody knows where that critical mass is gonna be, like how many trans women need to dominate women events for that to change. And then also continually keeping in line with how society works. Nobody gives a fuck about men, but the fact that trans men aren't competitive like anywhere will never be a problem to anybody. Nobody will give a fuck about it at all. Hassan's take on trans athletes. Oh boy.
And even if trans women, specifically because they are in like the starting process of their transition or whatever, have significant competitive advantages, let's say they do. In 99% of the instances, they don't. There's plenty of empirical evidence to suggest that they don't. But even if they do, it does not matter. It does not matter because it's not unnatural. It's not unnatural to be trans, unless you think it's unnatural to be trans, in which case you are transphobic. That's it. That's the take.
What? Your arguments on the trans sports panel pissed me off. Every time you compare the strength of men and women, I thought it was stupid and seemed bad faith. It dodges the actual serious question, which is, does HRT attenuate the difference by enough to make things fair? The reason why the conversation has to start here is because most people don't have...
most people don't even agree that like men and women
most people don't acknowledge this. I think most of the trans community and most people that argue online don't think there's that big of a difference. So I think the conversation has to start with people acknowledging how big the difference is, because I think people just don't understand it. And then from there you can have a conversation about like, does HRT or whatever change things? But the reality is like all of the long-term research says no. And even like the most staunch advocates that I was arguing against conceded as much. Like, okay, yeah, it doesn't. But their cop-out was always like, but we need to control for height in all these studies, which is ridiculous because height is one of the big genetic advantages conferred on men from women. If average cis women traits are clustered around here, and then like average cis male traits are clustered around here, it's like you're trying to make this argument that like
at the starting area,
once people transition, they shift down this curve.
Stop, read
maybe
the fucking
we'll say
message.
that they're like at this point they shift down to below average whatever the male performance will be, or we can even shift it down more, or we can even shift it down more. Regardless, wherever you shift this curve down at, the distribution is going to be totally fucked, because you're taking a trans woman that can be a wholly average cis male prior to transitioning, and now as a trans woman, just by virtue of being a trans woman, they're already way ahead of 98-99% of women before we even start to talk about like, well, who's competing in sports, who's doing whatever.
Are we just specifically talking about like height here?
Well, if we want to talk about, the problem is when we try to talk about other things like lean body mass or whatever, you want to throw away all those studies because you say, well, they didn't control for height.
Oh well, no, I don't want to throw away them. I actually like with for example, the one that you posted, the Joanna Harper British Review of 24 Studies. I actually that's actually the thing that I do like. I do like criticize like I do have the criticism that doesn't control for height, but like the study itself, the conclusions from the study say that we cannot make any conclusions based on the evidence that we have. Like more research needs to be done, and that research would control for height, because if you want to talk about the effects of HRT on stuff like lean body, on the stuff that like matters, because again, like lean body mass is one of the biggest factors for like the discrepancy between male and female sports performance. Is that, well, you would want to compare a trans woman to a cis woman who has similar like stats, like
Okay, let's
similar
say-
training
sure.
years, similar height, because then you can see the effect of HRT, and if HRT brings the trans woman's lean body mass down to cis levels or like slightly above, which is
This study seems like it's almost exclusively looking at like bone mass and bone density. That seems like the most important thing that this study was focusing on.
and lean mass. It's both of them.
Wait, is it, or is it just this? It's only talking about appendicular lean mass.
Yes.
That's only appendicular is that's only your arms and legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the I don't know why I would take that as being more important than like looking at overall like.
Well, because we have very little data on lean mass and such. Like this is just like one example. Like I said, the Harper. The Harper review, which is the best review that we have to date, shows that like hemoglobin levels are the same. But
Sure.
that,
Yeah. Wait. So some real quick. So some
increases,
blood stuff can be like
yeah.
very responsive to hormones. I understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
I was just going through the
yeah, sure. But hold on. But just
results
focusing.
of it.
Sure, I know. But just focusing on this one thing, right? So this study looks like that it was taken 3 months, or the study was done 3 months after treatment, right? So 3 months after treatment. Let's think effect size for our study. Are you telling me that this study, after 3 months, saw no difference in lean body mass between trans women and cis women? You know that's not true based on everything else you read, right? So this study was clearly focusing on something else, like bone density is what it's looking at. Otherwise, that affects
bone density and appendicular lean mass. It didn't go for like total.
Sure,
like,
but I'm
lean
just saying
mass.
that like we would never. You shouldn't be citing this to me as an example of how similar they are, trans women and cis women, because the effect here is insane. Again, the average male height is like 5'9.5", and a 5'9.5" male is taller than 98% of women, of cis women. So I mean, like, it's just. But I think it's like one of those arguments. It's like super. I think it's just super obvious. I don't know. I don't think anybody engages in good faith. The whole conversation seems painfully partisan for every party involved. Yeah, because conservatives just want to jump on the other end and dogpile too. So it's just. But I mean, like, I think every conversation on the internet is dog shit because nobody's actually invested in any of these topics. I think that it's just an ability for you to virtue signal. I think that's all they become. And then if you view it through that lens, like everything kind of makes sense. Right, on the trans side, they want to be as extreme as possible. You know, get like people on that panel were saying ban women's sports.
Who gives a fuck if women can't compete at the top level? If they can't do it,
I mean, that's essentially what the argument seems to be.
Who watches women's sports?
care.
A ranking system based on skill is completely fine, and that you have classes for like the 800 to 1000, the 600 to 799, shit like that. Sounds completely reasonable to me. And if it eliminates women's spaces from sports and makes it so that, I mean, keep in mind it'd be eliminating men's spaces from sports as well, and I have absolutely no issue with that. The turfs are completely right. I do want to actually get rid of gendered spaces in the sports arena, and that they are 100% right. And I don't base my opinions off of what the most radical turfs, fear that I'm going to do.
Or like just get rid of women's sports, but then on the conservative side, it's like fuck all trans people. This is all evil, horrible shit anyway. We should never have trans people. So it's like everybody just uses all of these issues, just become like a vehicle through which people can channel whatever virtue signal they want for whether they like or don't like trans people, I guess.
Hey.
Are there any trans men in the politics space? I feel like everyone is a trans woman. I think in real life the numbers are a little bit closer, but on the internet you get way more attention for being a woman than you do for being a man. So trans men probably just don't get much attention even if they are out there. You get way more validation and attention in these conversations. So. One thing that is kind of frustrating is that like it wouldn't surprise me if there's just not like that much research because all of it is so new, and I think that a lot of the people that advocate for trans athletes to be included with cis athletes of the genders that they identify with kind of like thrive in this gray zone where I feel like a long time ago it was like show me one trans athlete that's dominating, and then it's like now it's like show me a million trans athletes that are dominating, and it's like basically the goalpost has moved to where like if you can't show that trans athletes are dominating the top of every like women's sport, then it's not a real problem or something, which I don't know if I buy that explanation. I think there's also like I think there is some fringe work around like researching like oxygen, like lung capacity and bone structure, and then people will go on to say like, oh well, look, there's no research showing that like greater lung capacity or like bigger, you know, skeletal muscular structures are going to actually help you athletically. And it's like, man, you know, there might not be the research, but that feels so intuitively wrong. I don't know if I actually believe it, which is maybe a little bit of an anti-scientific thing to say, but like,
hold on, newly dark. What are you talking about, Scrub Team?
I think the thing that people, Jangles might be able to talk with you. Yeah, I saw some of the video, like, Obama. I don't know, maybe. I think the thing that I have the hardest time, I don't know if Jangles addresses this, the thing that I think is the hardest to address is like the fact that you can train as a biological male through puberty and then switch over and then compete as a woman in like a women's sport. I don't know how you can ever say that that's fair or how you ever overcome that difference. I've never heard a good response to that. Has nobody made theoretical new categories for sports? The problem is that people see the battle as a moral one and they don't really care about the sport itself. So when you suggest a new sport, people aren't really thinking of like, oh, well, is this good for athletic whatever or not? What instead they think is like, oh, you think trans people aren't real women, or you think it's always trans women also. Nobody cares about men ever. nobody cares about trans men or cis men, okay? So this it's not even trans athletes in sports. We're really only talking about trans women in sports because trans men aren't competitive for the same reasons why trans women are super competitive. There's a reason why, is because you can't, like, if you went through puberty as a female and now you've gotten some HRT and now your hormone profile looks similar to a male, you're not going to be competitive ever. Trans men don't compete with cis men in like any sport, except for there's like two like athletes that people want to link, and they're the only sports where cis women are semi-competitive, and one is like, I'm not even making this up.
You responded to me in chat yesterday until watching the video, but you said I was virtue signaling, but telling you Kat is a woman is a reasonable answer to whether she's non-binary or not. You owe me an apology because I will never recover otherwise. Re.
Cool. Fuck, I don't even remember what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying.
Obama.
Oh, the only things that people are competitive in are like fucking power walking, like that sport. And then the only sports that women tend to be competitive with men in are endurance sports. So I think that like for ultra marathons and stuff, I think that women get closer to men's times there than they would like in sprinting or something. You say LOL power walking, but apparently it's an Olympic sport. I didn't know it until somebody linked trans athletes to me in a debate one time to own me, and then I looked up like, oh, well, what does this person compete in? And it's power. It's there. I guess I don't know if it was Olympic or not. Was it Olympic? I think it was.
It was Olympics. Canada usually.
It's called. I don't think it's called power walking. I think it's called race walking, where but one foot has to be on the ground the whole time, and it is Olympic. Okay, yeah, it was. I looked at it. I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think this is helping your argument, Chief. But yeah, it's just like the thing is you foster like you foster so much bad will.
Do you think that trans athletes that transition before early puberty should be allowed to compete in sports with cis athletes?
If you transition before puberty, I think there's stronger arguments for it, for sure. But post-puberty is really hard. Like, I'm an older person who got into weightlifting seriously as an older person. So I say that, okay, knowing that like, okay, I'm not trying to sound disparaging or anything, all right? You should try the hardest you can in all of your life for everything you do, all right? Always, because it's good to self-improve and all that. However, Tabor will agree with me here. Nobody goes from like being not that involved in sports to being like a D1 athlete.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that you can pick these people out, if not in middle school, in like the freshman year of high school.
Yep, you can kinda
Nobody
see who the
goes from being like, oh, you know, I don't know if I want to try a sport or not, when they're like 20, and then by 22, they're like star players.
To compound this, whatever, I'm a fairly like athletic person. That will never leave me. So I can go from like not really working out that much to like working out, and I can make like pretty serious gains. Like there's a, I don't know, I'm not saying I'm a fucking D1 athlete kind of deal, but like my body type or whatever allows me, I have a pretty substantial, like in comparison to most people, it seems in my typical life, you know, whatever, it seems that I have a higher like kind of muscle mass naturally than most people for whatever reason. Just kind of like just based off like testosterone levels, I want to say. I don't even know what the fuck I like label it as, but I'm like a somewhat like just kind of naturally more bulky person than other individuals. So what that allows me to do is that if I ever just start lifting weights, I can kind of automatically lift like 135 on bench. Like it takes me like a week of just like, oh, okay, lifting lightly basically to kind of get used to it again, and then I can lift 135 just automatically, because that's just the body type I have, and I was doing like athletics throughout school and stuff like that. And I'm a fairly like fast person, just kind of also naturally, like not really doing much of anything. I just gotta break this. Chance I can. Right, so like, yeah, and it's the same with the best example I have is hockey, because this happens all the fucking time. It's like Connor McDavid was Connor McDavid when he was like 12 years old. We like all knew.
On their college teams. I don't think that happens. So when people are saying things like, oh, well, this person transitioned, you know, when they were like 20 or whatever, and it's like, okay, so what, like, they've already gotten to train a hardcore amount, like, as a different sex. Like, you can't tell me that this person is on the same playing field as everybody else. It just doesn't, there's no way. That's not how that works. Is there any place to put blame the trans females themselves to continue to play these sports while knowing they have an unfair advantage? I don't know if I would saddle the blame on an individual. I mean, if you want to compete and play sports, I mean, like, I can understand the person's desire to do so. I don't know if I would blame the individual. Also, you got to consider these people in some of these sporting events are like, what, how old is this, the Talia or whatever person, like 20 or something? Like, am I really gonna say like you have fucked up all these social issues? Like, I wouldn't. I was a fucking moron at 20. I don't know, dude. I don't think I would. Like, fuck it. If the rules say you can compete, then fucking compete, dude. Who cares? Like, fuck everybody else, dude. Hey, if the rules say you can do it, then fucking go for it. That ain't on you. But
true.
The basketball rankings in middle school are usually pretty accurate for who's going to be in the NBA. Is that true? Is it really that significant? Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily in middle school, but I know like by freshman year of high school, like you can pick the winners. Is this not sort of comparable to people being popped for PED usage and then allowed back into the sport after some time? They would still have the advantage of training with PED. Yeah, basically, but it's like super, like, male puberty is like a super ultra PED. Another thing that bothers me about this is that puberty as a male is a very important thing to your overall physiology. And to deny that also kind of deny trans people that are pushing for puberty blockers for children. Because if you're telling me that you can erase every major like
yeah, you erase everything. Like, yeah, like I'm not the person. Well, this is like use, of course. This is kind of obvious. Like I'm not the athletic fucking problem that I am without like how early I went into puberty, basically. Like I'm like fucking sitting in fucking elementary school. Everyone's like scrawny little motherfuckers, and I'm just like weirdly bulky. Everyone's like, Matt, you look so old. I have like a receding hairline at like 20. Like, fuck.
Biological or biological difference,
yes,
which is hormone therapy. Why do we care so much about preventing people from going through puberty for the wrong sex?
I would say, well, but
that would be that's kind of a hardcore.
Okay, how much does Rainey's Dark Moon?
That would be kind of a hardcore tweet. This Redditor wants to talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. These conversations legitimately gonna kill myself. If somebody wants to, I mean, if anybody's around to drag people in, maybe.
1866.
Answer that aesthetically it's different and it doesn't have much of an effect on sports. I mean, like, how can things like your lung capacity or how can like the structure of your body not have an impact on like athletic events? I don't understand. Or the ability to train basically with performance enhancing drugs for like a decent chunk of your life. How can we possibly say that has no impact on your... Really know that the impact of male puberty from male to female trans women is really that much more of a physio than the physiological difference between cis women?
Dress up?
Almost certainly. But I mean, like, what's gonna happen is because of like the direction of the culture is nobody's gonna dare push back on this, and there's gonna be some critical mass where too many trans women athletes are winning too many events. And it's either just going to cause people to become way more transphobic, and it's going to cause a lot of erosion for trans stuff, or people are going to finally be like, okay, well, maybe we need to change something. But the problem is, like, nobody knows where that critical mass is going to be, like how many trans women need to dominate women events for that to change. And then also continually keeping in line with how society works. Nobody gives a fuck about men. So the fact that trans men aren't competitive, like, anywhere will never be a problem to anybody. Nobody will give a fuck about it at all. So. I did WT-sold, and I don't know what WT-sold. I don't know what the fuck that means. WTEESLED and weightlifted in college can confirm the top athlete potential can be seen at 10 or 11. Like age 10 or 11 or grade 10 or 11. I think that for a lot of people, it's just kind of like basic psych stuff. I think that if you have a history of being misunderstood or not seriously engaged with anybody, you probably are a little bit warmer to people that are willing to engage with you seriously. That would be my guess.
I just don't like the look.
Are you
14, 15?
Chromosomes, then what's expected?
The only way we can have a bimodal graph is to have two different things that we're studying, right? Where the places where it overlaps they don't constitute a new category.
They aren't a new category. There aren't even two categories.
It's males and no, there are. Listen. We have the concept of male. Even if only half of the people on Earth were males and females, we would still have the concept of males and females.
The social concept.
Human males and human females.
If you talk to human biology researchers, I just want to point out, human biological researchers do not, quote, only study two things, males and females. They don't think in terms of males and females. They think in terms of the thousands of genetic variations that humans experience.
Okay, hold on. It is true that things like sex are very, very, very fuzzy. When you start to get like really into the weeds on certain things, like genetic diseases can make things weird, and then there are different species that will flip something that there's definitely things around the borders when you get really into it that get very fuzzy. They can definitely challenge a hardcore concept of like male and female, as rigid as conservatives would like it. But to say that like, well, researchers don't even think in terms of male or female, that's just absolutely not true. I would be shocked if you found like anybody that studied anything related to anything having to do with biology that didn't like generally think in terms of male or female, unless you're getting into very specific like sex research.
I noticed your title says chill.
I am chilling.
Does this mean you are actually chilling?
Yeah.
You don't seem very cold. Please clarify. Thank you, bonus meme. Oh, bam, now.
You'd agree that the solution to the trans question in sports is dependent on the sport itself, right? Maybe. I kind of think you probably should just create like a different, like you have like an open category where everybody could compete, and then you have like a protected cis women category. Probably should be that way for almost every sport.
And then if there's enough trans athletes, you make a protected trans athletes.
The muscular advantage enjoyed by transgender women is only minimally reduced when testosterone is spread. Yeah, I don't, it feels shitty because like I guess like I can start digging through papers. I've seen a lot of people, but I think there's evidence. There might be equal evidence on both sides of this, or I know there is some evidence on both sides of this. Every time I've watched somebody do like a big review of it, usually it's overwhelmingly in favor of trans women tend to retain some strength from being a cis man. But like if you could ask any professional athlete, like any professional woman athlete, hey, if you had the opportunity to train as a male from the ages of like 13 to 21, like you wouldn't even finish the sentence. They'd be like, yeah, obviously, duh. Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, obviously. Like, it's not even a question. And the idea that like And then when people say things like, "Oh, you don't retain anything," like I don't know what that means. Like, do you think your muscle just melts off? Like it all just falls apart? Like when these people are transitioning, they're still strength training, they're still conditioning, they're still doing like all their other athletic training. The muscle doesn't just go away. It doesn't just disappear, right? And then you get like
also like, and this is true. Like, I'm just imagining myself, a person that can just like stop going to the gym for a while, and then go back and I can max out the fucking leg press machine. I went with my buddy a couple weeks ago, and I can load up as many weights as I can on the fucking leg press, and I will lift the weight. Just okay, now ignoring that leg press is like easy to fucking load up, and like you can basically lift whatever the fuck you want on that machine. I could walk into any gym right now and I can put on 400 to 500 to maybe even 600 pounds on a leg press and do it right now. And I haven't been to the gym in like a month. Just because of like my natural body. Right. So imagine if I'm like a professional athlete who's doing training every single day and I'm transitioning. That doesn't just disappear. Right? Like, fuck. Anyways, yeah, actually, I'll just stop my stream here. Okay, I'm gonna stop the stream here just because I don't really have time to do anything else. No point in me like starting up anything and then like having to just like stop it in like 10 minutes, and I have to fix up my laundry, do stuff. Anyways, yeah. So I'll be back after about 2ish. I'll stream until 6, 7. Then there's hockey game on, and then yeah. So catch you then. I'll be back here.